Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And I'm going to talk on something that a lot of you have most likely been hearing buzz about, but I haven't commented on yet, and that is this new series, the Surviving R. Kelly series. I do highly recommend that you check out this series if you can, because it is very powerful, it is very telling. You have not only testimonies of people who R. Kelly has allegedly directly victimized, but you also have tons of people who have worked for him, have been in his camp over the years, who have literally been around this stuff, looked the other way actively, or in some cases, even kind of helped it happen. Because when R. Kelly, years and years and years and years and years ago, was forging this very, very not okay romantic relationship with Aaliyah, you had this guy in his camp who's, talking on camera and, and there's documentation of this, essentially faking documents so that him and Aaliyah could get married, because she had to lie about her age in order to get the marriage to go through, because at the time she was not 18. With this very powerful series out and making the rounds and grabbing a lot of attention, because I think it is a very important series of interviews, not only for what it reveals, but also what it illustrates as far as the process of abuse that people in R. Kelly's position are able to create with their influence, their wealth, and their fame, the desperation for the people around them to kind of protect them and live adjacent to their fame, because it sort of puts R. Kelly and a lot of other artists in position where they can effectively take someone out of their life who may be kind of naive and turn the way that they live upside down, make them dependent on them, and effectively kind of turn that person, I guess I would refer to the terminology used recently when there was discussion about R. Kelly sort of like having like a harem or sex slaves or something, like, because he's literally got these people who he's victimized around him that are dependent on him, because he's used his resources to kind of block them off from the world and make sure that everything that they want or need is wholly dependent on him. That is sort of a side to this story that often a lot of people are missing, and something that a lot of people don't necessarily get when they think like, oh, well, why don't you just leave, or why don't you just go? Because, I mean, obviously people who are in R. Kelly's position make the process of that really difficult or scary. Since this series came out, artists who have worked with R. Kelly over the past have been stumbling over themselves to basically be like, oh, I collaborated with R. Kelly and it was a mistake. I didn't mean to do it, or it was a bad idea, or blah, 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 blah. Stumbling over themselves. Like, everybody's like in a race to be the first to sort of disavow their R. Kelly collaboration. But one person who has been eerily silent on it is the person who has really collaborated with him the most and incredibly closely, and that's Jay-Z. He's put out 2 full-length collaborative records with the guy. But what's kind of weird and concerning about the Jay-Z R. Kelly collaborative timeline is they come through with this record, The Best of Both Worlds, in 2002, and then Jay-Z separates himself from R. Kelly a bit once the allegations surrounding the child porn and the PP tape are in full swing. But then once R. Kelly gets through all of that, Jay-Z sees no issue with collaborating with R. Kelly again on another full-length album in 2004. So, I mean, Jay-Z was working with R. Kelly during a time when the allegations against him and the freakiest and the weirdest instances of what he was doing were at their, like, peak of public scrutiny and attention. So, for someone like Jay-Z, if he does in fact come out, talking about this, it's going to be impossible for him to take the position of, oh, I didn't know, blah, 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 blah. There's also this recently Wendy Williams interview featuring Nas, this radio interview where, he pretty much alleges, oh, I've been around R. Kelly And, you know, I know there's freaky stuff going on in his camp, in his crew, Jay-Z. And this is, of course, is in the midst of his beef with Jay-Z. So, you know, of course, he's going to kind of throw Jay-Z under the bus. But still, you know, saying like, you can't tell me that Jay-Z hanging out with R. Kelly as much as he does, working with R. Kelly as much as he does. He's not seeing like 14-year-olds or young teenagers like sitting on his lap and da 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 da. With all the information that we have now, and with this new and necessary sensitivity toward the abuses that have been exposed by the Me Too movement, and being married to somebody who proclaims himself to be a proud feminist, Beyonce the feminist, and also somebody who, you know, has a daughter as well. Is this not something that concerns you? Is this not something that you feel like is worth speaking out about? Because honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, as much as it is easy now to denounce R. Kelly because he's not as relevant as it used to be, I feel like we haven't really learned a lot of these lessons. I mean, certainly social media does make pulling this stuff off harder because, you know, secrets tend to leak, screenshots are taken and sent out and spread like wildfire. Allegations move very, very quickly, much faster than sometimes the facts do if there are facts counter to what the allegations are. But still, that hasn't changed the fact that there are artists out there these days using their clout, using their popularity, using their fame to essentially put weaker people in a position where they are likely to be sexually abused or taken advantage of. And that moves across genres. And still to this day, you have tons of fans who come out and say, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, it happened years ago, there's no reason to believe this person, oh, here's this made up crap that's counter to what they said, so everything's okay, everything's fine. I'm gonna make any excuse that I can to totally ignore this mounting pile of evidence that this person who I'm defending is a total scumbag. Yeah, unfortunately, there's still a lot of people like that. And I feel like maybe it could possibly bring us closer to a societal realization if somebody who is on the level of influence of a Jay-Z was to speak out about potentially regretting working with a known abuser of teenage girls. Certainly Jay-Z wasn't the only person turning a blind eye to this shit. I don't think Jay-Z has any more responsibility in any of this than some of the people behind the scenes working for R. Kelly did, who were actually kind of helping a lot of this abuse happen. They, I think, have a heavier cross to bear. Guys like Chance the Rapper have not been shy about just being like, yeah, you know, the R. Kelly song, it was a bad move. I shouldn't have done it. Nobody's canceled Chance the Rapper. His fans still love him, and you know, he's going to have a long career ahead of him and a lot of great records, most likely. At this point, Jay-Z, what does he really have to lose? You know, he's heading toward the twilight years of his career. He's made so much money. He's made so many connections. What is the harm at this point of just saying, you know what? It was a fuck up. I shouldn't have done it. Now that I'm older and I have a wife and I have a kid and I have hindsight and I sort of understand the dangers of this behavior and who it hurts and the effects that it could potentially have and how society should be better than this, this is not okay. And we should not continue to look the other way when shit like this happens. I think a message like that, I think coming out and saying that could have a positive impact. You know, again, this isn't about attacking Jay-Z or shaming Jay-Z, but for somebody who has, in an artistic sense, held hands with the guy during some of the worst moments for R. Kelly socially, okay, as far as his public image, I think it would be great to hear his point of view on this, and I will leave it at that. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Anthony Fantano, forever.